If you didn't already know, Lumio has been a great tool, but now it incorporates some AI. I know we've had some other trainings today, anywhere from Conmigo, Gemini. I think we even had a little bit of Canva going on later this afternoon. So those are some of our AI applications for your staff level. So let's find out how everyone is on Lumio. So how well do you know Lumio? I want you to put a number in the chat for me. 1, you've never heard of it, sound interesting, you decided to attend this afternoon. You're in for a great treat. 3, you've heard, you've used Lumio a little bit, but you need more. I could teach a friend. I'm really hoping to see some 5s too in here. I mean, hey, we would love to see you at the tech conference too. Just a little plug. All right, let's see. Take a look. Noel, what do we got in the chat?
We have quite a variety, actually. A couple 4s.
I didn't see any 1s, right?
I don't see any 1s. So, well, there's one. There's one. Okay. Somebody who hasn't heard of it, but that's okay. We're going to give you the tips and information that you need here today.
Kudos to that one person coming in, not knowing what this is, and signed up for a training on it. Honestly,
it's okay. She changed her mind. She's a 2.
Darn. I was going to say, that's a pretty good start off. All right. So I appreciate you guys letting us know. Again, it's always nice to see where you guys are in the journey. Hopefully by the end of our session, you've at least moved 1 on the scale, maybe even 2. You never know. Oops. I'm going to go click happy here. So Lumio is a web-based platform for those of us that don't know. If you've ever used Nearpod or Pear Deck, it is a very similar structure. It used to be called Smart Learning Suite, and it transformed your basic lessons. I'm not saying our lessons were boring before Lumio, but this makes it way more engaging. And it, again, keeps those students interested in your experience, and it makes it interactive for them. So who is Lumio for? Sometimes we get platforms and we're like, oh, I can only use this for this group of students. Well, I want you to know that Lumio is for all students, whether that's elementary-based, secondary-based, whether that's ELLs, ESOL students, or you've got your ESE students, Gen Ed, everyone and everyone. You not only have all of these features, but you also have, again, those digital manipulatives are in here, immersive reader for those struggling readers. This is great for small group and whole group. Maybe even students are absent. You can actually have your lessons, send it home with them. So a lot of great features in Lumio for all types of learners. So some of the big features that I want to take away is it is enhancing your lessons. So they have ready-made resources. You are transforming your content. So you could actually have a PowerPoint that the district teaching and learning department pushes out for your math content. You can actually upload that same PowerPoint and you're just adding those interactive pieces. You can share the link in class, do it with your students. You can send it home with them. They can do it at home on their own pace. The nice part is pacing with the students. You can have teacher pace or student pace. 2 things I want to state that sometimes our educators get a little misconceptions here is you do not need a smart board to do Lumio. Yes, we purchased the smart panels and this was included, but you do not need a smart board to do this. Another thing is when I was learning Smart Learning Suite, I loved it. I was like, I'm kind of cringing because I'm afraid that, you know, as educators, we get things and then sometimes they go away soon. Lumio is going to be here for 10 more plus years. So it is not going away. It is at your fingertips for a long period of time. And it's really great to engage students. The games are fabulous. I've done this with elementary and middle school, and believe it, even with high school recently, they all love them. So I'm going to let Noel take it away. Otherwise, I'll go on forever.
No worries. All right. So for those of you that are new to Lumio, Lumio is accessible 2 different ways. You can find the portal tile inside your portal, or if you're already in a Google application such as your Drive or your Mail, you can find it in the app selector by clicking on the waffle or app selector and locating the Lumio tile there. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you can. And I am dropping a link in the chat. While you do that, you can click on the link and that's going to get you to a shared template that's going to look like this. Once you click on the link, you are going to click Save to My Library. And sometimes that takes a little time, so I'm going to go ahead and click on mine now. You see that it is importing into my library. And once it gets in there, all of those slides, I can click Edit, which is exactly what I want you to do. So once you access the link that I dropped in the chat, and I'm going to pin it here now, it should say save to my library. And then once it downloads, you're going to click edit the file. And I'm going to make this pretty simple for you because I want you to add all of the files. If it gives you any option to add all of the files, I want you to add all of the files. So the reason that we decided to give you a template is because we're not really going to start from scratch. We want to be very specific and strategic on the activities that we share with you because we're capturing the newest features within Lumio, which are the AI assist features. And most recently, they added 4 or 5 game options, interactive game features that you can add AI features, or you can create these games, these interactive features using AI, even right down to our Florida standards. So that's a fabulous little tool that you have at your fingertips. But most recently, and I'm not going to get to share this, this will be Lee's job to share. Most recently, they added, you can create an entire lesson deck that's using AI, and it's standards based, and you can add more to it and take things away. So that's what we're really going to show you today. But while I do that, I'm going to show you some of the features that our beginners might need to know if they're brand new to Lumio. So I'm hoping you're all with me and you have this deck that was shared, and yours should look very similar to mine. I'm going to share with you a feature that we like. It's called Infinite Cloner. How does an infinite cloner work? Well, it is a tool that you can share with all your students, and you can have them kind of drag an icon or a picture and kind of vote, so to speak. There's some ideas on here. You could do it with math where you're doing integer chips, or you could do some SLL activities, checking in with your students on how they're feeling today, how their comfort level is with a particular topic that you've gone over. You can do base words for some primary students if we happen to have any elementary folks in the room, atoms for science, food webs, dragging, and kind of putting things together. So Infinite Cloner is something that you can do in your Lumio, and I'm going to show you an example on this slide. Now, you have the same slide as me. This is the one that I'm going to share with you exactly how to do it, and then you'll have a chance to practice your own on the blank slide that we provided. So first thing I need to do is I need to add an image that I'm going to infinitely clone so that my students could then drag it along my slide. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to come up here to the top of my menu bar, and I'm going to click on the one that has the picture or the image. And you see I have stickers I can choose from. I can put shapes on. I can upload images. I had any in my drive or my on my device, or I can search images. You can also insert links, and you can make an audio recording. This is extra helpful for students who may need directions in a different language, or students who have learning needs and they maybe need an audio version of the directions. So those are some ideas that you have at your fingertips to add right to your slide. We're going to be in the Bing Safe Search, and I'm going to look for a car because I want my students to be able to drag a car over to the road. And of course, my cars don't want to load, so I can't really see what they look like. And maybe I'll just pick a random one and hope for the best because they don't want to load. And I don't like that one. Not the one that I want to pick. Let's see if this guess is any better. It's not any better, but you know, technology, it's always like that. So I really didn't want a whole picture of a car. I really just wanted a little graphic of a car, but you're still going to get the idea when you see it. So I made mine a little bit small. Again, wasn't the intention. I just wanted it to be a little graphic. But once I have my image, I'm going to put it down here where my directions say grab and drop a car where you feel you are on your Lumio journey. So I have my image. See this little caret here? When I drop down my caret, I have an infinite cloner option. So once I click that, this option allows students to drag from where I stuck it, and they can put their little car all along my road. I also could do it the same thing with this one, and they can kind of rate themselves where they feel they are on their Lumio journey. Obviously, you only want them to pull one car onto your road, but you get the idea. So with that, I'm going to give you, what did we say, Lee? 4 minutes, 5 minutes? So yours is pretty much a blank slate. You could put your own little words on here, and how you would do that is by clicking the A, and you want to insert a text box, and you'll click the A and then click on your slide, and in comes the text box. So maybe you say beginner is your first one, and that one you're going to have here. And then maybe you want to have enter, and can't spell intermediate here. You can pick however you want, whatever you want your words to be. If I want my words to be bigger, if I want that font to be bigger, I can drag and make it. So I showed you how to do the infinite clone image. I showed you how to add text. You can create how you want your roadmap to go, and take a few minutes to go ahead and do that now.
We'll put 4 minutes on the timer on the Google Meet. And if you need more time, we'll ask as it gets close to the finished. If you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat.
The A is grayed out, Maxine. At the top, it is in gray. It only turns blue when you click on it. I think that's what you mean. About 45 seconds left. And of course, I managed to get my cars to show up this time.
If you are finding this simple and easy so far, can you go down to the little emoji, the smiley face reaction at the bottom? Give us a thumbs up, happy face. Tell me how it's going so far. Easy peasy. Thanks, Trent. Beverly, awesome. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Travis. Woo, an explosion of fun. That's awesome.
Hey, you're right. We have a link in the chat. I'm not sure if you clicked on it, but yours should look like the one that I have displayed on the screen. And we are adding whatever. You could add a suitcase or a car. We're adding images to our map, our road map. And then we are making them infinite cloned. So clicking the caret to the right of the image and making it an infinite cloned image.
The one thing that I want Noelle to point out one more time is as you're creating these, when you do an infinite cloner, kids are going to go on there and move the cars, which is great because that's what you want them to do. But one thing we found out, trial and error, is maybe saying that intermediate. Can you hit on the word intermediate, Noelle, and click on that and click the caret? You don't want the kids to move that. So you definitely want to lock that one in place. That way they can't move that section. The other things they can move, which is great. But in the end, you don't want to mess up your whole screen. So just a helpful hint. All right. So thank you, Miss Noelle. All right. So we showed you Infinite Cloner. It's a really great tool to utilize when trying to, again, like we talked about, maybe an SLL activity where you're having them again share how they're feeling going into a lesson. And Lumio came out with a great tool called Lumio's AI Assist. So again, it's bringing AI inside of Lumio, and there's a couple different features that we want to focus on today within that. So the one where they're really, really great use is in the game-based activities. What makes Lumio so great are these games. Not only does it make your lesson engaging, but it gets students participating and reviewing the activity. So as you can see here, the highlighted 4 games are the ones in which AI Assist is inside. So you have Game Show, Monster Quiz, Speed Up, and Time Quiz. I can tell you this, when you're adding activities, all of these are great game-based activities. Your students will love them. Fan favorite in elementary, middle, and even high school recently is the Monster Quiz and the Team Quiz. The game show is unique, especially to do it on the smartboard if you do have that big board, that way the kids can come up and spin it. But the Monster Quiz and, like I said, Team Quiz are the most popular. So we are going to practice building that. So inside, so notice you have your template. It says Team Quiz Hold. What you're going to do is we are going to do a little bit differently than Noelle. So Noelle had the template. We are going to have to actually add it like we normally would for adding a slide, adding a new activity. That means coming down to the bottom left-hand corner with the blue plus button. So when you click that, you're going to see something pop up on your screen. So this is where you could add a YouTube, Desmos, VET. You even have book creators. So if you were just on that session, guess what? You can embed your own book inside here. We're going to talk about Shout It Out. You can also, is a great feature if you haven't done that. Noelle is going to hit into response, and we are going to come down to game-based activities. So we're going to select this one, and notice it even tells you a little AI symbol to let you know AI Assist is in there. So we are going to scroll all the way down and go to Team Quiz. If you were looking at this and you're like, whoa, overwhelming, I don't know which one to do, they do have the little icons in the top right-hand corner showing a little bit more information via video. So I'm going to click on Team Quiz. And you will have time to do this. So if you want to just watch on our screen, you can then again see what it would like to do yours. So I can add and edit things. I can just start with Lumio Assist. So I'm going to start with Lumio Assist, and I have to select certain things to get it going. So multiple choice or true or false. I like my quizzes like this. We are going to do a 6th grade science standard. So most specifically, like Noelle said, you can actually tailor it down to the standards. It does not work if I put in a standard for 8th grade and I put that it's working in grade 9. So you make sure that your grade is aligned to what you need. I don't really want 5 questions. I really want them to review well, so I could do up to 10. In the topic or the prompt, I'm going to write my standard. I literally copied and pasted the standard from CPOMs. That's all I did. So this standard, so what I'm going to do is you can see here all of the different standards. Yes, I know it's NGSS, but I'm going to actually come down to Florida because Florida specific standards. And the strand, if I type it in, I'm going to type in SC6E.71. You can see there is a specific strand benchmark. So I can click it. The level, maybe my students are, this is the first go around and I need them to make sure it's easy to read, quick, painless, easy. If I need them to challenge, maybe it's more advanced, or I could do a mix as well. So I'm going to click easy. And just like normal AI, you're going to hit the blue button to generate this. And as it's generating, it is creating it. What we've noticed, and remember, a couple months ago, we never had this. So all of these new platforms that are getting AI are constantly revising and updating. So there are some minuscule nuances that you definitely, as you know, the 80-20 rule. Noelle is famous for that 80-20 rule. She says, make sure, yes, it's doing 80% of it, but your job is at least 20% to review all the answer choices, the questions, to not only make sure it is correct content, but it's aligned to your students and your standards. And also some silly things like we noticed yesterday as we were going through, some of the answer choices were like mostly C, as in this one is mostly C. Notice none of them are D and only one is A. So maybe I adjust some of those answer choices because I don't know about you, but I like to keep kids on their toes. So what happens when you touch a hot metal spoon? It has been sitting on a boiling water. Great application of, again, those standards. I can delete this question. I can edit it. I can adjust it completely. I do not have to keep it. I can adjust the answer choices. I can edit all of these answer choices. I can't right now move the answer choices out of order. So if I did want to make that this answer was A, I would have to copy and paste the answer up there. You can see here, you can get a glimpse. I can move them around over here, but I can't move the answer choices specifically. I can also add a question if I want. But since I did the 20% and ensure that every single answer and question is correct, I'm going to go next. So I like to keep my students on my toes. I said that. Let's randomize that question order. If you wanted them to work in the same order, maybe in small groups, you can have it the same. You can also have a time limit per question. We're just going to edit 30 seconds. And I can have different scenes. So right now, there's Super Rangers, or I can have Pulse. I don't know what Pulse looks like. A great option. So I'm going to say finish. That's literally, I mean, what, 2 minutes it took me to make an engaging activity at a game that summarizes and practices their science standards. So I'm going to have you try. So during this time, all I did is I'm going to go back to the bottom left, hit the plus button, and you can do this right in your template. You're going to select game-based activity. The one that I did was the one on the bottom, team quiz, but if you would like to do any of the ones that have Lumio's AI assist, like speed up, monster quiz, or game show, by all means, you can do those. I suggest going right into your standard, pulling a standard from CPOMs, or even if you have your scope and sequence out and pasting it in, see how well it does. And I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. We'll gauge it. If everybody needs more than 5 minutes afterwards, we'll work with it. But let's give you 5. If you have questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to put it in the chat. So just reviewing, we are presenting on our screen. I'm editing on my file. When we gave the link to your file, you're able to edit yours because we like for you to walk away with something in concrete for you to refer back to. So when I'm showing it on my screen, it's not going to edit yours. You're going to be doing the editing during this activity time. I hope I explained that right. As we're rounding out the last minute, thumbs up if we had enough time. Thumbs up if answers were coming out pretty good for the AI assist. Let's see. Smiley faces, no loving yet. No loving on the Lumio AI assist. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Jennifer.
All right, friends, it's time for some AI assist with the response option. So Lee showed you that there are various different games that you can use those AI features with, but the one I'm going to share with you kind of hides out on its own little space within Lumio. And the response feature allows you to kind of do quite a few different things. You could do kind of like an on-the-spot check-in with your students, a little quiz. There are various options from multiple choice all the way to short answer. So this allows you to kind of share this Lumio lesson with your students, and they all can respond to the specific questions that you ask. In this case, I'm going to make it standards align using the AI assist feature. So that's going to kind of happen right here in this space on your template called live response hold. You're going to click, if you're on that particular slide, you're going to click the blue plus button. This is how you're going to add the next activity. So the response option hides out right here. Lee showed you the game-based and the ones that had the AI assist. For the one I'm sharing, you can see the little AI, little icon. We're going to do response. So it's pulling that up. And it is like we did with the other one, going to give you this menu of choices to pick from. For the sake of this one, because this is the one that I have ready to copy and give you the features from, I picked multiple choice, and I am doing a 10th grade standard. So I have to drop it down. One thing Lee and I learned when we were practicing is if you choose a grade that your standard is not geared toward, you may have a hard time pulling up the standard. So my standard happens to be a 10th grade standard, and I'm going to keep it with the 5 questions because I think 5 questions will be enough for this particular one. Now, my standard happens to be an ELA standard. I'm copying it over here. If you want to try it yourself, I'm going to put the standard in the chat. And in this case, I am using the actual standard. I'm not using the wording from the standard, but you could try that if you wanted to. So I'm going to scroll down on my options. I'm in the first drop down, the standard one. I'm going to scroll down till I find Florida. And then I'm dropping myself down to strand. And I am just pasting that one in the box and give it a second and it will pop up. So that's the one that I want. It's about posing an argument and supporting your argument with evidence and all of that good stuff. And then I'm just going to click, oh, nope, let me scroll down again. I can choose my recommended level. I'm going to make it a mixture. And then I'm going to click generate. And within a few moments, you're going to see how fast you can make a 5-question quiz or check-in or recap of a lesson, whatever you want it to be. And you could make these multiple choice, you could make them short answer, you could do poll questions. In this particular case, I just chose multiple choice. And here are my questions. What's the primary purpose of a thesis statement and an argumentative essay? It tells you what the correct answer is. You can, of course, add to it. You could put an image there if you wanted. My second question, my third, again, there's a lot of B's, and I did voice this concern with Lumio, the smart team yesterday, that I've found a lot of the answer choices tended to be B. So that's a concern that I have brought to their attention, but it's nice to have these questions generate pretty quickly. And then if you don't want the questions, I think Lee mentioned this too, you can kind of click the three dots, click the three dots and kind of drag them and maneuver them into a different order. So that was pretty simple, pretty quick and simple. We're going to give you 3 minutes to do your response. Remember to start that. Now I'm going to click next and finish so that it adds it in my deck. But you're going to start from the blue plus sign, and your 3 minutes will start now.
Less than 30
25
seconds.
seconds. Oh,
Look.
whoa.
Jinx. Go ahead and throw in a reaction into either the chat or on the screen. How's it going so far? Lumio AI Assist going good? Easy peasy? Loving it? Thank you. So love that thumb explosion. I'm gonna finish up here.
And I'm not seeing any emojis on my end, so I'm glad you're seeing them. Super weird.
Technology works when it wants to. Okay, so AI lesson. So this is the big present, if you would say. So all those little tidbits earlier was the response and the game base. That's done inside of your, maybe you already had a lesson. You're just making it engaging. So this feature allows for you to actually start up an entire new lesson, locating your, through your benchmarks and through your standards. And it includes all of the aspects that are engaging in our favorite parts of Lumio, which is even more exciting. It's kind of all done for you. And of course, I put a little asterisk there. You're the experts. You still need to review it. Just because someone made it for you AI, you still needed that 20% to review everything. So you put it in and you get going and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great. Throw it in. Or you get to the point where, hey, there's some components that I don't really care for. Okay, you can still edit all components when they push it out. So just because AI Assist gave you a great lesson, there are some edits that are needed. you have still that capabilities. Whether you do not like the activity, you do not like the questions, the learning objectives, you can adjust everything when you get it. So we are going to do it together, and then you are going to do it. This one's a little different. It is actually outside of your lesson. So I'm going to show you. If you are here inside of your lesson, what I want you to do is come up to the finish editing tab on the top left. You can always go back and edit. You're going to hit finish edit. This is your dashboard. Okay. So this is where you would start a new lesson, import a lesson, and all of your previous tasks. So you should actually see this one that we just did, Engaging Learners tab, right there. What you're going to go to right here above the recent files is the AI lesson. Everybody see that? We're going to click on it. So as you can see on my screen, you're going to see that you need to include the learning objectives and the standards. So I literally copy and paste. It's my favorite thing from CPOMs. You can see I've included not only the words, but also the numbers. So we are going to do, say, a what did I say, 9th grade math. Language that I'm going to do is English, and that's all it needs. I can put more specifics if I want to break down and add in objectives, more specifically what I'm focusing on. I can add more. There is a 1,000-word count, so again, probably not going to reach that much, but again, I have copied and pasted my standard. So we're going to hit generate. As it is working, hopefully it's working very diligently and not having a problem right now. All right. So it loads. If you've ever used Gemini, you can't really, or ChatGPT, sometimes you can't scroll up all the way until it's done. So you got to give it a minute. We got to not be someone who's not patient, AKA myself. It still says generating, so it's giving me all of the fun stuff. So this is a lesson preview. So with that lesson preview,
Lee, I'm sorry. I know. I think the AI lesson is in beta, so some of the people don't have it. Can you show them how to do that? We apologize. We totally forgot.
This is something that, again, so it's going to be, hold on, let me think about this. Edit class, correct?
I think it's on your picture.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so click on your picture. Sorry, everybody. We did this prior. Forgot. About Lumio Beta. Join Lumio Beta. Mine's
totally
green.
Forgot this.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Sorry, guys.
Thank
you can see the
all
list
for
of
putting
features.
in the chat.
But go ahead and boom. I love you, Ava. I paid you to say that. Thank you.
Love that.
Okay, we're going to go back again. I apologize. So you might have to refresh for it to show up. AI lesson. I'm going to type in the same thing I had before. What grade? Again, the grade's got to match the content. Hit generate. You better work, Lumio. I just had to stop. I know. You got to talk to it nice, you know. Here's the preview. It's going. I'm just letting it roll with it. It does allow you, once it does finish the preview, you can edit in this component. I tend to wait and see how it looks in actually a lesson because it's more aligned and it just makes a little bit more sense when it's actually in progress. So the choice is up to yours, whether you prefer to edit it. Okay. Don't worry, it says proceed before you proceed, hit edit. You can edit in the next section. So I'm going to hit next. I can pick a template to choose from. Simple, abstract. I mean, that looks nice. So it's going to put it all in the lesson. Watching it thinks pretty interesting. It is interesting. It's thinking a lot faster than I'm thinking some days. So again, amen. Okay. So it does take a little minute because it is generating not just your game, not just your lesson objection slide. It's doing the whole lesson for you. So we have to be patient. Okay, here we go. So like I said before, everything is editable. I can come up here, edit the title. I can come right onto the screen. I can click everything, lock it in place, adjust the title, delete, everything. One thing that looks a little wonky, but it's actually okay. Something we brought up is as well. If you look on the left, the slide kind of icons look like the text is a little wonky. It's really not. It's just the tile on the side. You can see here, here's the warm up, here's the shouted out activity. It's already, the engagement activity is already there. Keep going, let's apply. You've already got a super sort. You can actually preview these if you've never done one before because you're new to Lumio. This is a great opportunity to preview. So I can simple equations, compound equations. This is like the preview activity. It shakes it when it's not. Again, this is a quick one done with only a few examples, but I could always add more. Here is a fill in the blank. Great for, again, science, math, ELA. Not only when I answer, I could check my answers because I'm going fast and not even reading. Of course, I got some wrong. That's probably what our students do, right? You can review, say that this super sort, oh, that's two, match them up, too many activities in one section. Why don't I do this under? I can just grab and move. Here's my exit ticket where they actually have a handout. We haven't done this today, but it's actually where students individually get that page that they have to answer on, and it shows us feedback on what they put as their answers. And that's your lesson. When I'm done, I go up to finish editing like I did before. Okay, it's going to survey you because he's growing. He's in beta. He's going to be better soon. So here it is, right in my recent file. When I'm ready, I can assign it to my class. I can start it in class. And I can always come here. This is my favorite part because this is what I'm going to show you is sharing. 3 dots, hit share file. This is a great way, work smarter, not harder. Give to other teachers that are doing the exact same thing. That way you both have the same copy. Okay, so during this time, you are going to go in, try AI lesson, utilizing your standard, maybe an upcoming unit. That way you can have something to walk away with and start working on it maybe tomorrow, maybe the end of the week. And we are going to give you, I think, 5 minutes. If you have questions in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out in the chat. All right, under a minute. I did see Ava say that it came out pretty good. Anybody else come out with some really good results? Love to hear about it in the chat. Some good, some bads. Jennifer said positive. Beverly said good to go. Maxine, we'll hold off on yours and you can share your screen at the end. That way we can kind of take a look at that. But I am going to let Miss Noelle take it away.
Thank you very much. So I think Lee did, oops, let me share the right tab. I think Lee quickly showed the sharing. So when you are in a specific lesson that you want to share with a teacher, you guys take turns creating lessons. That is how you share. You're going to be on the file itself, click the three little dots and click on the share, and then it'll give you a template link, just like we shared with you in the chat, that is completely editable by whoever you share it with. So they're not messing up your original file, and you can add to it and change anything, or they can add to it and change anything. All right. So next, we want to hear what you found useful in this session. And so I'm dropping a link in the chat that is going to take you to a page that looks like this. This is a Canva whiteboard. For those of you that loved Jamboard and you missed Jamboard, this link is a whiteboard inside of Canva. Now we know this isn't a Canva session, but we want to hear from you. So in this whiteboard, you can't yet, but inside this whiteboard, when I give you edit access, you can grab a sticky note, plop it on this whiteboard under any one of these content areas, writing, electives, and tell us what you wanted to, what you found helpful, what you want to share. You can share the link to your lesson. You can zoom it in. You can zoom it out. Move your sticky over so nobody else is in your space. But if you want to share the lesson that you created, you can drop the link to your lesson right inside of your sticky note. And in just 1 second, I'm going to give you edit access, and then you can refresh your page. Just click the little refresh button, and you'll be able to add a sticky note over on the left-hand side, plop a sticky note on, and make your sticky note big enough so you can see inside of it. And you can copy your link from the lesson you just made and share it with anyone else. So I just showed you how to share. Lee showed you how to share. Click on the three dots, get your share link, and drop it in a sticky note. And now your friends in the session will have a link to the lesson that you designed with the AI Assist feature. Give you a couple minutes to do that. This is a great tool to use if you are brainstorming with students, either in your whole class or small groups. You can open up a whiteboard and share with your students, and they can all add sticky notes. You can add text. There's lots of different features that you can add. This is not a Canva session, but if you've dabbled in Canva, this is a Canva whiteboard. All right, I'm going to let you keep adding on there, and I'm going to pop back over to this presentation so that I can finish up a few last minute slides before we let you go. We do want to thank you for being here. But we also want to remind you about the ELM course. If you did not register for this session in ELM, please make sure that you do so we have a record of you coming to this training. You're not obligated to do the in-service, the implementation to get the in-service points. You are not obligated to do that, but we do want to have a record of you registering because you expressed an interest in learning more about Lumio. And Lee just dropped in the chat a call for presenters link for our upcoming tech conference on February 18th. That is a PD day for secondary teachers. So we welcome you all to join us. And if you have something techie or just innovative that you'd love to share with us that you do in your classroom, we welcome you to fill out that call for presenters link.
Maybe
we'd also love to know
you're doing amazing in Lumio, right? Maybe amazing in Lumio.
Yeah. And we'd also love to hear your feedback on today's session. So along with what Lee just dropped in the chat, there is a feedback survey. Quick and simple, we'd love to hear if you loved what you came to see. And this is our special projects team here on in the Ed Tech team. We also do have one new member who just joined us this week, and she hadn't quite made it on this slide yet, but we welcome her too. She's in the session with us too. Everyone say hi to Jennifer. She's in the session with us today. And that about wraps it up for us. A couple more links that Lee threw in the chat, our EdTech mailing list. Maybe you've heard about our trainings from the EdTech mailing list. Maybe you only hear from your administrator or your friend. But if you're not on the EdTech mailing list, you definitely want to be there so you can get all the upcoming training sessions we'll be offering. And then our training site also was linked in the chat that Lee just threw in there. And that is where you will soon find the link to this recorded session. It'll be hiding out there as soon as it's ready to post in YouTube. And with that, we thank you all for being here. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll stick around to answer any questions you might have. Have a fabulous